Hello, I'm Callum Dilietto, and this is the second season of the Flock Together podcast in partnership with Oman Convention Bureau. We're here today at the Langham, and I am with Kerry. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
You are we said this, you're a baby to the industry.
Yes, a mere fledgling.
Yeah, you've only been in the industry for 3 years.
Yeah.
Which is, a baby compared to so many veterans that seem to be kind of in and amongst us. But you were a teacher before?
Yeah, I ran English departments abroad and here. So used to set up senior school English departments, A-levels, GCSEs, down to year 7, and then run them. And then move on to the next one. So Shanghai, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. It's very exciting.
What a transition, though, from that to this. How was that transition for you?
I think when I came back to the UK, I did teach for a little while, but having been in Shanghai and I helped a colleague run arts festivals for the whole school. And as I was doing it and meeting all these events people, like the artists and the comedians and all these sorts of people that we were putting together and matching up with, classes and things, I thought, gosh, this is fun, this is good, and you're exhausted, and but you can see this event happening and building. And when I got back, I just thought, I quite liked that. I'm going to give that a go, because after 20 years of teaching and running English departments, it's quite exhausting.
Yeah.
And I was ready for something new, so tried very hard to get into events. Didn't do very well for a few years because it's difficult if you haven't got the paper experience. And then met Caroline, who sort of thought, oh, you could be good here. And then met Claire, and she was like, yeah, I think so. So they both took a chance on me, and it worked out well.
I love that, and I think that is what it's all about. I think so many people have transferable skills that get overlooked because it's not like a traditional CV for a traditional role. And I just think if you take a punt, chances are you end up with someone who fits or performs even better than a traditionalist. So
yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. I think I fitted in with the team, and then the clients that we have, it fitted with them as well. And so I took my first group to Scotland within a few months of starting, and that was, it was good because also you could have the paper qualifications but not have the people skills or the experience that being slightly more mature has, enabled me to develop. So just personalities just matched, it just fused, it's all just, and it's been amazing, and we've really flown, so and here I am.
There you go. You've flown, and now you're in a flock. I mean,
and now I'm in a flock. It's just ideal,
works.
Isn't it? I was going to say something naughty then, but I won't.
So the first part of the podcast is reform, which is an opportunity for you to write a letter to the industry. What would your letter be?
Well, my letter, I think I would have to start it with a very much of a gratitude angle, and just to say that when I first started in the industry, I was a bit wary, thinking that people were going to be mean or nasty or bitchy, and it's going to be really competitive. And it just hasn't been like that at all. It's been kind. People share, like agencies that you would consider your, competitors. They help each other, and it's been amazing. So first of all, I would write to the industry and I would say thank you for that, because it's really surprised me. You get the odd bad egg, but you just don't go, you don't deal with them again. But I think the thing that I would say from my personal view is that I've been quite surprised at quite a few events where we're hosted, like a bigger group of people are hosted by a hotel group or even a bigger association. And yes, they are trying to impress us as agencies and buyers. However, they put a lot of effort into it, they put a lot of money into it, and then they just want to introduce their hotel or their idea, and everyone's talking. And it might be the teacher in me, but I have spoken to a couple of people about this, and they're mostly in agreement. It's just like, come on, guys, just shush for 5 minutes and let these people say what they want to say about their business and their hotels, because I just think it's really rude. And there are so many instances where it's happened. It's happened recently, and I just, like, if that was me standing there, I wouldn't start until they'd all been quiet, because it's just like basic expectations of manners.
That is definitely the teacher in you there saying, I wouldn't start till they're all quiet. But I do completely agree. I think regardless of who's getting on stage and what they're saying,
Yeah.
that like I do find it really like cringy when people don't listen to the person on stage.
Yeah.
But even more so when those individuals are hosting you or putting on this, you know, this wonderful event for you, and you know you're staying in their property or you're eating their food or something, and you can't give them the courtesy of just like 1 or 2 minutes.
It's basic manners, and that's one of the things, and I know there are huge issues in the industry and stuff, but that's just something that keeps cropping up, and it's something that I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's right. So that's what we need to sort out as well. Tiny little thing.
Love that. The next part of the podcast is remember. So obviously you're a fledgling in the industry, but this doesn't just have to be within the industry. But what was your first ever work trip abroad?
Abroad?
Yeah.
Well, I went to Ireland for my first one. Does that count?
Yeah, that counts.
Yes, that counts. I went to Mount Juliet for my first fam trip, and it was I hadn't been at Eventful for very long, and Caroline wanted to go, but she couldn't go, and she really wanted to see Mount Juliet, and she was like, "Oh, go on, Kerry, you're going to go." And they gave me a briefing as to what to expect and all this, and I was just new, thinking, "Oh yeah, free trip to a beautiful golf resort, you know." And then that trip was such an education for me because you're spoiled and you're looked after, but what a hotel feels like when you're in it, you can sell it more, can't you? And it was an education for me in terms of learning that these aren't just perks; these are educational experiences.
Yeah.
And then you learn after being in it a little while is that the people that do use these experiences as simply drinking, jolly and all that, they don't have as much respect as other agencies, or you know. So I think it was a real education, and I've just got a flashback that we did have a little dance at the end of one of the nights, but it was all it was a brilliant trip. I loved it, and Mount Juliet's beautiful. George from Marriott looked after us really well. It was great. Yeah, really good trip.
You're right. Like they are, I think they're invaluable. Like fam trips for hotels and for destinations, the amount of education you do get from them, the understanding of the destination or the property is beyond anything that pictures can do. But there are a lot of people out there that just no business. They just want to purely just have a free ride.
Have a free drink.
Yeah.
But then there's another one I just thought of actually, where I was on site, and it was in Amsterdam, in Noordwijk, Housterdam, and we were just wandering around, and I don't even think I had the inquiry there at the time, but one of my events that I work on quite a lot, I was just like, nah, this would fit here. Because you feel the flow of it, and then you can see it, and you can see how it would all work, but you don't necessarily get that from photographs. And then it ended up taking place there, and it was such a satisfying thing to go on this fan trip, and then to almost, it was like a thank you as well, isn't it? So it's like, cheers, Mark, this is great. So could we, this worked really well. So it's I like it when it's quite cyclical and it's, you know, it all works. Anyway, sorry, that's two.
No, that's I think that's fair. And what was your most recent work trip?
I went to Cannes. Cannes was the last one. I went to the meeting space, JW, and it was great. Really good, super industry event where I wasn't running around like at IBTM or anything like that. I was there, and then they come to you, the hoteliers and destination people, and it was just really classy and nicely done. And you had 20 minutes discussion time, which I thought at first, a bit long, but actually what it means is you can see the hotel, and then you can just talk through some events, and you do get a chance to engage. So. Yeah, and I'd been on a site visit there just a few days before, so I'd seen Martinez and the Carlton as well. And so it was quite nice for me to be able to compare the three places at the same time. So, yeah, Cannes was amazing.
I only just went to Cannes for the first time a couple of months ago. I was doing some filming for a client, and I was really impressed by it. I kind of didn't know what to expect. I had an image in my head, and I sort of thought, oh, okay. But like, Yeah, it's really nice. Really
Yeah,
nice.
I liked it. I'm not sure I'd like it right in the middle of the summer, if it was super busy. But there was a moment where I sort of snuck off. Like the little introvert in me was just like, I just need half an hour. And I sat in one of the beach bars and it was sunset. So I'd finished all the work stuff before the gala dinner and I just got a cheeky little beer and just watched sunset. And I just thought, God, this is lovely. This is a really nice place.
Those moments, those little moments, that's what makes a destination.
It's like soul food.
Yeah. The next part of the podcast is revisit. So in your entire life, not just in your work, is there a destination that if you could teleport yourself back to that memory, what would it be? What destination would it be?
100% Syria.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I know, without going into, politics and things like that, I think that for me was a place that was filled with so much magic and you could feel it. Even at the time you knew. And I went there in 2009 with a friend of mine and I was like, oh no, I'm not going there. What's that about, She said, no, trust me, come along. And then, so 4 of us went and we had the most incredible trip in Damascus and did a little bit of looking around and, I could tell you 100 stories about being there, but for me it was that. It's what I remember, the feeling of being there, and it was so special. And I've got 3 little egg cups that sit on my shelves at home. They come every place I move to, everywhere I go. I take my 3 little, I think they're copper, but they're different colours. Gorgeous they are. They're my little Syrian. And I've got a Syrian rug. I don't know how I got all this stuff back with me. I can't remember that bit, but it was incredible.
I love to take tasteful souvenirs back. I'm not really one for a typical a magnet or something like that. I like to try and get something maybe it's a bit of wall art or maybe it's a little trinket or something like that. Something that I would actually put on a shelf and would actually want to display. And it's funny you mentioned about rugs because when I went to Oman, I saw a really nice rug and I was like, I want that, but it was massive and I only had carry-on.
Yeah.
And somehow, I think because we were business classes, they kind of allowed us a little bit. But I remember carrying this really heavy rug onto the plane, through the airport, in the cab on the way home. And when I finally got it back and then I put it down, and obviously it had been tightly folded as well, so I had to leave it a couple of days to flatten out. And when it was finally flat and in my living room, I was like, that was worth it. Look at that rug. I like that rug.
Yes, and I do that now. I've got, I tend to buy artwork or rugs from these different places, but never expensive, big things. And soon I'm moving out, and if I get an unfurnished place, my sister was laughing at me the other day. She said, "You're just going to have paintings and rugs," and I was like, "Yeah, pretty much. It's all right. I'll be all right."
Yeah. I feel like we should house swap because there's literally everything in my place is a story of some sort of travel.
Well, this is it. Yeah. This is why you're in a bit of trouble with me on a podcast. There's a story associated with everything.
So talking of homes, if you could make a hotel a home, which hotel would it be?
Well, I do love all the luxury side of things, but I think because I have travelled and lived in different countries, right now I want to be in the UK. So I was thinking about the UK places where I felt most inspired and have loved. And these aren't places, one or two, but just somewhere connected to nature and with a literary link. So I was thinking about places like Chewton Glen. When I went there with the Eventful team, Holly and I, probably know Holly, my colleague, we got up in the morning and we walked down to the beach just in dressing gowns and swimming gear and had a little swim in the sea first thing in the morning, and then walked back up, and it was like coming home to Chewton Glen and just like looking at it. It was gorgeous. So somewhere like that, or Elcott with the history, with the poets, and I think it's Shelley or Byron. They've got a painting over there. Somewhere that where the outside is inspiring as the house. And I was in South Lodge the other day, and like that is just. And I went and sat outside, and I was getting my poetry vibe on, and it was just lovely. So it would be something along
with a literary link to it as well.
Literary link, grand house where you can feel the history, and you can feel that sort of. You can feel inspired by it as well. So there's 4. Did I say?
Fair though, but I think
I'll grow an estate.
There's definitely like a common theme though, which is like, because a lot of the time, these authors would go to these places because they wanted inspiration, right? And so if they were inspired to write these great pieces of work that we all know now, then there must be something magical there that's inspirational, so that for you to go, one, to know, oh, they've written this or whatever, but like, yeah, I mean, Stratford upon Avon, with like, I was in Nottingham recently, and I could feel the kind of history there as well.
Yeah.
I think we are quite spoilt with the amount of art that has come from the UK.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think you can feel it when you're in some of these places. It's just, even if you didn't know exactly who the writer was or an artist or something like that, you just get a vibe for something, and it's quite. I like that. So. But there are loads of other hotels that are popping into my head now, so I'm sorry to those that I haven't mentioned.
Well, funny you mentioned Holly as well, because I think I met her at Chewton Glen, so it's funny that you had a shared experience with her there, because I think I did too.
Oh yeah, it was great. We just ran out, and it was very cold. We just sort of run out into the way. It was not Baywatch. It was not Baywatch, but we had fun and came back just like shivery and blue. But
yeah,
thrilled. And
well, people do that deliberately now. They jump into ice baths and all sorts, don't they?
Yeah, we were way ahead of that.
So the penultimate part of the podcast is about reimagining, and for you, you organise all these incredible incentive trips for so many clients, but for once, I'd like you to organise an incentive trip for yourself. Where would you go? What would you do? And which celebrity would accompany you?
Well, when this question was first posed to me, I thought immediately that I would go for somewhere like Jordan or Oman or somewhere like that, but I think I'm going to have opportunities to go there anyway. So my idea is that I would fly business to somewhere like Puerto Rico, somewhere along those sorts, and I would explore Central South America, because given long enough, I would be able to go to some stunning beaches and have some lovely relaxing time and things like that. But I would also be able to trek through forests and go down sort of routes like the Inca Trail and get that inspiration as well. And so I saw myself sort of travelling from east to west and down, and then so I had them all listed, but I think Peru, like in Guatemala and all that, and then I would end in Brazil, just me and my friend Danilo's mum and dad, because he lives in Brazil, in Maringa, or Meringue, I'm going to say it wrong, and I visited with him recently, and just sitting on that farm in Brazil with 2 people that I could barely communicate with, but just with a cold beer and just looking out over, I just think that would be a nice circular tour. Everything obviously would be done by boat and helicopter, and I would have guides to keep awful things off me in the forest. And,
it'd be the bougiest, like authentic experience of you. Like, I'm going through the Amazon, but there will be people cutting the trees for me.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind a bit of that, as long as no big thing's going to land on me, and but I think for me, I'd like the variety of a trip like that. I'm not someone that wants to just lay on a beach for 2 weeks, but I like adventures and inspiration and things like that. So I think that, and I just think that area that I'm visualising and keep drawing is something that I'd like to do.
I haven't been to South America at all, and it's where I'm desperate to go, and I'm planning to do multiple destinations, I think, whilst there, because I think once you're over there, you may as well do a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
And which celebrity would accompany you?
Oh yes. Well, my favourite celebrity is Peter Crouch, but I don't really think he's the sort of person to accompany me on that trip. So
He'd definitely get a lot of spiders' webs in his face, wouldn't he, if he's going through the forest, a bit too tall.
Yeah, and I'm not, I don't want to take him away from Abby and the kids. So, I think Salma Hayek.
Oh.
I saw her on Graham Norton talking the other day, and I thought, gosh, she's exceptional, isn't she?
She really is.
Completely hilarious, totally owns who she is, and obviously could speak really good languages that would help me out at the time. But I just thought we would have fun. We would dance and have fun and laugh, and so she's my chosen one.
That is such a great choice. Like she's so like fiery and feisty and strong and powerful, but also so sexy.
Yeah.
And also hilarious. Like I didn't realise she had that comedy side to her until I'd seen it. There was a couple of films more recent, maybe Hitman's Bodyguard and things like that, where I started to be like, oh my God, Salma Hayek's actually hilarious.
She's super funny, super funny.
That combination, I think, you two, it's South America running around causing trouble. I can see it.
Oh, there would be trouble, yeah. But I think it would be funny. Yeah.
Wouldn't be ending on a quiet beer with her. No.
No, well, actually, I think she's got she looks like she's got a bit of class about her. She could have a nice chilled rosé at the end of the day. If we needed a quiet day, needed a little rest from the salsa dancing.
So the final part of the podcast is a quick fire round,
okay,
where you just need to react at speed to some of these binary questions.
Okay.
Okay. So, packing last minute or week before?
Last minute.
Carry on or check in?
Oh, both. It's really annoying.
So all of the bags.
Well, no, because I only ever pack a small one.
Yeah.
But recently, I've been rather inclined to check them in, just for a relaxed time. But I never usually do that. And partly, I think it's because I get so cross when they take it off me at the gate. And I'd rather avoid that anger.
I just don't let them take it off me.
I've tried battling.
Oh,
I've tried crying. I've tried everything.
Do you know what? Most recently, I was on a flight and it was a trade show, and I was with a colleague, and they said, "Oh, seen as your business, do you mind taking this like stand bag, right?" And it wasn't quite the dimensions you'd normally have on the carry-on. Like we swapped. You're not supposed to swap bags, I know.
I was going to say that.
I know it's very naughty, but it fit in the overhead locker, but it wouldn't fit in one of those little stupid little measurement things, cages, and they battled me. And in the end, we were like, look, there's tech in here that you will not allow downstairs. Like, it has to be up. And they're like, oh, okay, fine, come on. But I could feel like the blood rushing to my face because you could see the queue was building behind me. They're all like trying to get on the plane, and I'm just like, why did I swap bags? I should have just stuck with my like perfectly packed normal suitcase.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what's just popped into my head as well? Is that annoying people at the airport where you take your stuff out of the tray and then they walk off and they leave the trays to all pile up. Last time at the airport when I was going to Cannes for that site visit, I was furious. But I was there, passive-aggressive, bashing them out and just slamming.
There's a lot of hidden anger in you, You are Salma Hayek. You are a bit of Salma Hayek.
Oh, there we
are. Airport lounge or shopping?
Lounge.
Aisle seat or window seat?
Window.
City or nature?
Can I have a bit of both? Nature. Well, and a bit of city. I'm a London girl. I love London, but also nature. Let's go nature within commutable distance of the city.
Nice. Okay. Lay in or early start?
Early start.
Poolside or seaside?
Seaside.
Planned or spontaneous?
Spontaneous.
I got that vibe from you, to be fair. I figured you'd say that.
But once that's been said, don't change it.
Yeah.
That's what my sister didn't quite gather.
Okay, she just keeps flitting back and
forth.
No,
that was it's another story, another time.
The suspense. Breakfast, hot or cold?
I don't do breakfast.
Fair. Finally, hotel, room service or restaurant?
Restaurant.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. You are a ball of laughs, and I'm now seeing you as the Salma Hayek of London. So that's...
Oh, blimey. That's something to live up to. And it's something that not many people will agree with, but, thank you.
Well, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.